shoot, I was going to ask you something about that. It escapes me now. Yeah, I might circle back to it when I remember. Would you say you're a movie guy at all? You like watching movies?
I find myself having less and less time for them, but I've definitely seen a lot of movies.
Okay, so are you a movie quote guy? Do you infuse those pop culture movie quotes into your daily conversation?
Movies and TV shows for sure.
Okay, so with that, no. Do you have a favorite movie or movie quote, and then do you use that movie quote in day-to-day conversation?
I love to be organic. I'm an ultimate dad joke kind of guy. Sometimes I think I'm more clever than I really am, but it really has to be to the situation. If I have something like loaded up, it's not funny to me.
Sure.
I hate it. So I need the situation to arise, and I need my brain to think of like a funny movie put on the spot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, for me, it's not worth saying. But some of my favorite movies, I love Borat. I will say I pull Borat all the time. Like,
ooh, I might have that one. Go ahead.
JT, if you were like, hey, my wife's coming, I would give you my wife.
She's a 43, and I love her. I'm going to use that because my wife turns 43 next year. I'm going to use that for the whole year.
I say this
is my wife. She's a 43, and I love her.
This is my neighbor, Bilo. He's pain in my assholes.
Brother Bilo.
My mother, she locked him in the cage,
yes.
And he shook the cage, and my sister spread her leg.
You will never get it. You will never get it.
One day he broke the cage, and he get this. High five, very nice.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Wow, we were. Very nice.
USA,
I like you.
greatest country in the world.
I like you.
Anyway, okay, so you're
that's a good quotable movie.
Borat is, yes. I think that's one that I know it was a phenomenon when it came out. Everyone was using it, but I still think that those quotes.
It gets funnier every year or more removed.
I think it does.
So,
and especially as a younger guy like yourself, to be using Borat, that's pretty good. I like that. So, what about a favorite movie? Do you have a favorite movie at this point in your life?
I mean, it depends on the genre. I like to be kind of a man of many genres.
So are you a Rudy guy since you kind of...
Rudy's a good movie, by all means. Okay. I mean, I love that movie. All sports movies. Remember the Titans might be my favorite.
Okay, so more football type movies?
Those are on the sports realm. I mean, comedies, Borat, you can't go wrong with anything Will Ferrell, like Step Brothers or Talladega
Step Brothers is very good, yes.
I would have to say Step Brothers is one of his all-time.
I agree.
It has to be.
There's
I can
so
quote
many
Step
good
Brothers
ones
a lot. I don't want to do it on camera because I'm sure I'll mess it up now, but for my 8th grade monologue, we had to memorize like some type of monologue from a book.
Yeah.
And asked my teacher if I could memorize the entire Grace scene from Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby. So it's something
give it a shot.
It's like, dear Lord, baby Jesus, I just want to thank you for this bountiful harvest of Domino's, KFC, and the always delicious Taco Bell. And by a stipulating endorsement from Powerade that says I have to mention them at every grace, I just want to say that it's cool and it's refreshing, cools you off on a hot summer day, and I can't wait for their new release of the new flavor Mystic Mountain Blueberry. Dear 8-pound, 6-ounce Lord from Baby Jesus, still in your golden fleece diapers, can't even say a word yet. I just want to thank you for my smoking hot wife and this $81.2 million.
Amen.
Amen.
Something like
I actually use smoking hot wife all the time with my wife, so that is a joke. So I love that.
I'm sure anyone watching this will go into the transcript. I messed up a ton of words, but it's been 10 years since I memorized that.
Say that again.
Start over. Say that again.
Say that again.
Sorry, I was trying. That one did not hit like I wanted. I will say though, very good, Brendan.
Thank you.
What did your teacher think of that one?
I mean, back then I didn't mess up a word, so that was. But I was also
your class just roaring?
It was a monologue, but I had to inject other voices as well because his wife chimes in and his kids are like, so what'd you do today? And it's like, I took some of Grandpa Chip's old war medals and threw them off a bridge. Well, Walker, that sounds like a great day. How about you, Texas Ranger? Well, teacher asked me the capital of Maryland, and I said Washington D.C. Bingo. And she said I was wrong, so I said she had a lumpy butt. And she sent me to the principal's office, and I peed my pants. I haven't changed my pee pants since. I'm still wearing my piss pants now. Oh, well, it sounds like 2 great days from y'all.
Jeez.
Shut up, old man. I'll come at you like a spider monkey.
Yeah, that's right.
Chip, I'm all jacked up in Mountain Dew. That's a quote I use every once in a while.
That is a good one.
Whose role is it?
Oh, gosh, we've been, Holy crap.
7.
7, ooh.
Another
7s are racing. That's good. How about this? Since you, especially being in the halls of West Point, you probably saw all sorts of pictures and thought of historical figures. If you could have a drink with any historical figure, who would it be?
A non-alcoholic drink.
Let's say this. No.
Just messing.
Let's say a couple. You don't have to narrow it down to one. Let's say, I mean, if you can, great, because you'd be the first. But if you can pick, maybe 1 to 3 people, who would you want to sit down and?
Historical, as in they're no longer here today, or?
Oh yes. What's it? Yeah, or alive, I guess, because there are some people making history good and bad nowadays. So.
Okay. If I had to go like the political sphere, I'd go Eisenhower. Just
Oh.
because he was a West Point guy. I think
Okay.
he was brilliant.
He
you know,
he saw things were coming and we didn't listen.
if I was to go with the president, a historical president, I'd probably go that route.
I like that.
It's
choice.
easy to say like Washington or Lincoln, but I think Eisenhower. I think I could pick his brain and learn a lot.
Sure.
If I were to go with just any person in all of history to have a drink with, I don't know if I could say this in Texas, but if I could pick one person, alive or dead, to have a drink with, it would be Eli Manning, quarterback of the New York Giants.
I think Eli Manning would be a fun time.
We'll allow that one because you're from.
Okay, I think if anyone hears him, he does a new Monday Night Football podcast with his brother. And Giants fans knew this the whole time, and other people didn't. He's hysterical. He's
Eli
one of the
is?
funniest guys.
Or Peyton.
Eli.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they're both
And
very
together they're even worse.
Eli is he's the most nonchalant, funny guy.
dry humor type stuff.
He was on SNL, and I think that was the greatest SNL night they've ever had was when
Was
Eli.
Eli on? I thought Peyton was on.
No, well,
They might have both been.
Eli
on.
was for sure.
Okay.
He's just a funny guy, man.
Okay.
And as a Giants fan, he's given me 2 Super Bowls, and
We're not talking about those.
I gotta ask, why a Giants fan and not a Jets fan? Since you are from New Jersey.
Okay, well, they both play in the same stadium.
I don't care.
The Meadowlands, right?
The Meadowlands, yeah, MetLife now. The quick answer for you, Rex, without going on, is my dad's a Giants fan, and my dad's a Giants fan, so I'm a Giants fan.
Okay.
That's a quick
But-
version, but in our territory, Giants are more popular too, in our area. Jets fans,
So you didn't say you didn't get beat up.
no, Jets fans didn't get beat up either. It's like 75%
You did it to
Giants to 25%
You did
Jets.
it to stay in the will.
Sure.
No, I'm just
the
kidding.
Jets fans, they don't get beat up, at least growing up, because we didn't care.
They know.
They're in a different conference,
Yeah.
and they didn't win. It's like,
Yeah,
if anything,
exactly.
we just felt bad for them. We're like, man, just be a Giants fan. No one's going to judge you. It's the same stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
But I never, I like to, growing up in a training facility where I met so many NFL players and trained with them. And,
Oh wow. Okay.
I can.
Who
just
did you train with? Who's someone like super cool that you trained with?
Super cool.
Someone that would blow our minds that we would never. that you trained
there's
with.
a bunch that I got to like train with them in the sense of like I got to watch the process. I think there was 1 or 2 actually got to like join them for like a part of a lift or spot them on bench press. Alfred Morris was one of them.
He was a running back.
He was a running
for
back.
the Redskins.
And then Giants for a little bit as well.
Okay,
Cowboys,
yeah.
I think. He came
he
through.
killed it for me on my fantasy team.
Oh,
I know you're a fantasy
He was
guy.
in there. Justin Tuck was in the facility a few times, and
Kicker,
I got to.
right?
No, you're thinking Justin Tucker.
Oh yes.
Justin Tuck was the Giants' defensive end.
He blew his fingers off, right?
That's JPP.
Okay.
Close. They won the Super Bowl together though,
That's
so that was
right.
opposite ends.
Sorry.
Plaxico Burress has been in the facility before. He was
Okay.
really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't get to train with him or get to be part of it, but this year Mekhi Becton from the Jets was
I have no
kind of the
idea
big
who
name
that
guy.
is. Okay.
And then I'm missing there's one that I got to actually lift with one day, and it was a Bengals running back.
Ooh, how long ago was this? Shoot.
LSU guy. What's his name? I'm completely forgetting.
Ooh, man.
I got one like really good workout I got to do with him, and I still remember it to this day.
Did you blow him away, or was he?
No, I mean they're sick.
Are those
athletes.
NFL guys just super?
A lot of the guys,
strong?
what I can do is I can like outlift them on one single lift for one rep.
Sure.
But I can't keep up
The
with
reps is where they can just blow it out.
anything else. It's just it's gonna kill me his name, but yeah, I mean, some other guys I didn't get to train with, but they've been through the facility, and Josh Norman has been through the facility, and he's one of the best athletes that.
Wasn't he the receiver that just kept screwing up? No, that's Josh.
You're thinking Josh Gordon.
Yes.
No,
Jeez, I'm screwing
Josh
up names.
Norman was the cornerback.
Oh.
He played for the Panthers for a while, Bills for a little bit.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Sorry.
But the point of that was I just can appreciate teams now because I know players on all different teams,
all
so
right.
I'm not crazy. Like, I appreciate good football for good football. I'm not.
Sure.
There's some teams I dislike more than others, but Cowboys, for example, as much as a rivalry, every time I go to the Cowboys-Giants game every year, and the nicest fans, the ones who actually go to the games,
They're from Texas.
they invite me to their barbecues, even wearing a Giants jersey, and they give me ribs and brisket.
That's Packer fans. I'm a Vikings fan, and they're as nice as... You give each other a bunch of crap when you're tailgating, but they're here, help yourself. It's the camaraderie is what overrides the team you cheer for.
And then the Eagles is the opposite. And
Oh,
I
gosh.
like the Eagles for two reasons. Brett Toth is he trained with me a little bit at the facility. He was a West Point football guy.
Oh.
And he's a tackle. He was on the Eagles. Really, really awesome guy. And so, I like him. I like the Eagles for him. But I like the Eagles just because their play style, man. That offensive line, as an offensive lineman in college,
Okay.
I mean, in the trenches, they just dominate the game in every corner. Guys like Kelsey and Lane Johnson, and what's their left tackle? I can't pronounce his name. It's Samoan, I think. But I mean, their whole line is absolutely unreal. So I hate liking them so much because they're just so fun to watch. But if you go to an Eagles game in Philly with a Giants jersey, like I had beer bottles thrown at me. So
I heard they're unruly
oh
fans.
my goodness! It wasn't even like it was a year where the Giants were close to winning. I mean, I went there knowing we are going to get blown out by 30 points, and we did. I
Yeah.
still get beer bottle. I'm like, guys, what are you mad at me for?
Yeah,
We just gave you
exactly.
the easiest win of the season. Like,
We didn't win by 37.
yeah, right. So,
This is a very deep question. Even as a young person, I feel like you are older than your age. If you could change one thing in the world, what would it be?
yeah, that's a great question. I mean, there's so many things you want to change.
Sure.
Like normatively speaking, you could say, changing like human nature at the core.
Sure.
Descriptively speaking, you can say, policies or regulations or, tangible differences you can make in a second.
Mhm.
That's a great question. I almost want to sit on it for a little bit and get back to you. But
Well, all right, I got another one, and let's see if you can multitask. See if your brain can multitask. Mine cannot. So
okay.
let's see if you you will prove you are very skilled at a lot of things. Obviously. Last one here, just to kind of get to know you, how you would describe yourself. What's something unique about you?
Unique about me.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of.
Well, there's something I learned about you at cards, which once again, I don't know you as well as I'm probably going to get to know you over the years here, because I feel like I said, you remind me. Have you seen the movie Shawshank Redemption?
Of course, yeah.
You remind me of the young guy that comes in at the 50s. In the 50s, he's the guy with the big chops. I can't remember. And I'm like Morgan Freeman. Like I'm part of the old guys, and then the young guy comes in, and he's spouting off. Not that you spout off, but just funny, gregarious. And then they're like, he was full of shit, but we liked him from the very minute.
Absolutely.
And that's who. I seriously, when I see you, I go, that is that guy, and he is outstanding. I love that
So
guy.
what'd you learn about me at poker night that was unique about me?
That you self-taught yourself on the piano. You play the harmonica, which I need to get some lessons from.
Ooh.
What's that?
No, you're good. I just.
Oh, you inhaled? Come on, dude.
You said harmonica. I got so excited.
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
heard harmonica. I was like, oh, harmonica. I was thinking I was like blowing in the harmonica.
Yes.
And it was a cigar.
There you
so
go.
It was like subconscious.
The line from Wedding Singer. So when he's up on stage and he's playing the guitar and he's like, self-taught. Thank you very much. Anyway, it's one of my
No, I love music. I love music in all regards, and by no means am I any type of savant. I mean, I had a roommate, one of my best friends of all time. His name is Ben, and he could write a symphony in 20 minutes on the piano, play anything by ear. I mean, I'm nowhere like that, but I never loved reading music or teaching myself like scales. I tried to get like 2 piano lessons and a guitar lesson growing up, and I just couldn't do it.
Okay.
But I still love music, so music's just a big part of my life. I love playing piano, and the harmonica is just fun to add on to songs.
Yes.
With the guitar as well.
It's a great hangout instrument.
It's
You're
great.
sitting around a fire, goofing off with your buddies.
I can play Zach Bryan songs on the guitar and
You're a Zach
harmonica.
Bryan fan?
I love Zach
Oh,
Bryan.
hold on. We're gonna get yes.
But
Whose role was it?
Oh yeah, it's my
You
role.
have to bring the rule back. Dave.
Well,
if I call you
Brendan
out,
is so
you have to
engaging
double.
here. Is that that's a 9 or
9, sorry, that's my bad.
Okay, sorry. Yeah,
So, but yeah, so I mean, it's
Thank
great
you,
to just be
Rex.
able to play that around the campfire. I bought a banjo thinking that that would be my next instrument because I can play these other ones. I even played trumpet growing up. I'm pretty good at trumpet.
Really.
But banjo kicks my butt. I'll be the first to admit it.
Banjo
I
is
can't
tough.
banjo. I can play like Rainbow Connection from Kermit the Frog.
How about what's the song from Deliverance? Why can't I think of that? Yeah. Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding, ding,
I'm
ding,
sure
ding,
if I
ding.
gave it enough time, but the
Sure.
banjo just kicks my butt. So
Okay.
piano's fun. I love the piano.
What do you like to riff on the piano? What song?
I like to kind of play it by, play whatever I want by ear. So like,
Okay. Well, you play the Piano Man, don't you?
I love
know you're a
Piano
Bill
Man.
Joel fan.
I can do the Piano Man. That's fun because you have the harmonic and there's a whole.
Yes.
I like to, kind of not blow people away, but surprise them. I'll play like Kanye West. And you'll start off with like pressing like one key at a time because that's how the song starts.
Yeah.
And it's just like you look at me like pressing like this, and you think I'm just like memorizing, and then you add like two hands and a crossover, and
Nice.
it's rap, but you play on piano and it's fun. So it's
Okay.
It's the way to surprise people is because anyone could play the Adele. Not anyone, but I mean anyone can go ahead that knows piano and play Adele or Coldplay, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
expect that. But it's like the Kanye West and the Dr. Dre on the piano that it's more
Okay.
more fun to shoot around.
Well, we're gonna get into a little more about you, but I want you to talk about. This is something I ask mostly everyone on the podcast. This will be a little bit of a change because you're not from Texas, but I feel like you embody a lot of what Texas is about. Favorite football team? I feel like I know college football team.
Is Army.
Okay, duh. Are you a barbecue fan?
I am a big barbecue fan.
Have you tried a lot of barbecue yet here in Texas?
Bell County, I pretty much finished up. A lot of Austin area.
You might have to go hang out with us and do a barbecue crawl.
I'm
Anyway,
down.
so what's your favorite barbecue restaurant that
My-
you've tried so far?
I gotta go with my guy Ronnie over here, Shope's Barbecue in Belton.
Okay, your Shopes. All right. Or Sheps. I don't know how to. There's a lot of okay. Right here in Central Texas.
Of course,
There's-
yeah.
Very good. Very good. How about this? Springsteen or Bill Joel?
The King versus
Because you're a New Jersey guy.
I know. I don't want to make this political. Springsteen kind of fell off the wagon a little bit in some regards.
Yeah. Well, we
I
don't typically talk religion or politics.
No,
but if
no,
it gets
he's-
there, it's fine.
He's just, he was. It wasn't about which side. It was just more of the fact that I'm a big believer in. If your lane is entertainer, your lane's not a politician.
Yeah.
And I think you should have opinions and be able to use your.
Yes,
But
I agree.
one of the things that I just don't like is people making their entire personality based, they make political all of a sudden when they're an entertainer of any sorts. I don't want them.
I agree.
If I buy a ticket to watch you
I'm going
play,
there to yes.
If I'm buying a ticket to watch you play music, I don't care if we even agree on politics. Like you said, I just don't want.
I don't care either.
I don't want politics to be part of my concert. I want
I'm
the
there
music.
to I'm there to
So,
listen to your song. Good point.
For that reason, and just because I love Billy Joel, I'm gonna go Billy Joel.
All
Even
right.
as a New Yorker, I know.
All right.
Sorry, as a New Jersey, you're not a New Yorker.
He's in New Jersey as well, isn't he?
admitted that you root for a New York football team.
They play in Jersey, though,
I thought
so-
Bill Joel was New Jersey. Is he not New Jersey? He's a New Yorker.
I think he's Long Island, if I'm not
You're
mistaken.
right. He is. Well, let's just say Northeast America.
Northeast America.
Billy Joel
I'll go-
and Springsteen. I feel
I'll go
like
Billy
are.
Joel, and I think that kind of leads me into my answer to your previous question as I was thinking about it. And there's too many things you could say for the world because it's. I'm not going to sit here and be holier than thou and say end world hunger or create world peace, but something maybe a little more tangible on the United States level. If I could change one thing about like the country, it would be the two-party system and just how polarizing we get.
It's a
'Cause
scam.
I think talking about like politics again. My problem isn't that people have an opinion one way or another, but it's separating more and more, and it's diving into other aspects of life. And I just think there's so many Americans on both sides that when you just speak to each other, there's so much to relate over and get to know.
We
but
agree on a lot more than what we think we do.
we're in echo chambers, man.
I agree.
We're in absolute echo chambers, and I can see both sides. Even like maybe we'll see it later. The Trump video when I show people the first thing they say is, "Oh, that's horrible. He's a horrible person. How could you show me that video?" Or they say, "Oh my God, Trump. He's my favorite president. Like, thank God you didn't get a shout out from one of the other guys." And they miss the point.
Yes.
It's
Well,
like,
that's it.
It's like it's your sitting president. This is the United States of America.
Yes.
As an officer, it's my commander in chief. But regardless of that, I mean, not that I love every president. Not that saying I wouldn't have voted for another president in certain elections. But man, like you better stick behind your guy. He's
Respect
running
the office.
He's running your country, and at least 50% of the country thinks he should be the guy doing it. So
Yeah.
It's not a perfect system, but the two-party system bothers me, and then this echo chamber and division of you know, there's no more overlap. It's just we're going opposite directions.
I applaud you for your thought process being a 25-year-old. I really do. I felt like it was a Texas thing, but I've been proven wrong so many times. Beans or no beans?
No beans.
Yes! Yes! So when I moved here, I was told Texans, they don't put beans in their chili because I come from the north, and that's all they put in their chili. I mean, they put hamburger and everything else. And I get down here and everyone's like, beans, of course. I'm like, what? So I just want to say thank you. We have much more in common than I thought we did.
Yeah, but he's from up north.
Well, that could be. We're sick of frickin' beans is what the point is.
I'm not a bean fan.
I'm not a bean fan either. Now you've already kind of alluded to it, so I think I know where you're going to go on this. Red dirt or bro country?
Red dirt all the way.
Yes.
I mean, I see on your computer here. I mean, when I talk about country music, it's right now it's Zach Bryan, it's Tyler Childers.
Yeah.
I was listening to Tyler Childers last night, and he's got the most special voice
I saw
I've heard
him in concert.
I want to see him in concert.
He is exactly what you would expect. He's so good.
I wasn't even listening to his mainstream stuff. I was listening to him just acoustically sing.
Yes.
The way his voice. I mean, he had a guitar
Haunting.
in his hand, and there was no music. It was just his voice, and haunting is.
It is.
Him, Zach Bryan, I love. There's some other guys. I mean, if I'm going a little more mainstream, I like Aaron Watson. I like him.
And I'd say he's not like he's mainstream country, but he's not like Nashville country.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like
no, I
bro
agree.
country.
I mean,
when I say bro country, I mean Florida Georgia Line.
Well, now
Luke
I mean,
Bryan,
when you talk about like Tyler Childers, you're talking more like Appalachian country, which I love. And then
singer-songwriters.
I love
people
that.
do their own stuff instead of someone writes it for them, and then I've been listening to some music because sometimes it's a guilty pleasure. When they have the clap thing in there like this, it's like hip. I'm like, this is pop music. This is not country music in any respect,
Well,
in my opinion.
Two of my favorite country artists of all time that are much more mainstream, not Appalachian by any regards. I still love Luke Combs. I mean, his voice is just
Okay.
And then I really love Garth Brooks. And then once again, he's kind of going into that Bruce Springsteen.
Where are the bodies, Garth?
Yeah,
you know
right?
that joke?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thunder Rolls. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
And you'd scream that out to him in the last verse.
Yeah,
everyone.
It pisses him off.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
I love Garth Brooks. I mean, I think. And then number one of my all-time favorite country artists. You might be able to guess this one as someone who likes to do rodeo.
George Strait.
Close, but no.
Rodeo. Oh, wow. I don't know. I guess.
Chris Ledoux, all day. I love Chris Ledoux.
Okay.
I mean, his
God
song.
rest his soul.
Yeah,
He's not
absolutely.
with us anymore. I'm sure. Didn't he pass away? I thought he passed away.
You might be putting me on the spot here.
Okay. I'm
might
putting
be
myself on the
drawing a
spot.
blank. Chris, but.
So guess what? No one ever comments yet, so we're probably not going to get called out. Do you have a call to take here in a second?
That's Chrissy Williams from Railway Express Diner down the street.
Oh, okay. You got breakfast coming?
And I don't, but I'll call her back in about 2
Okay.
seconds.
All right.
Look, Chris Ledoux is awesome.
Oh, it's my roll. No, whose roll is it? Did you
I
roll
think it's
a
my
6?
role now.
No, it is your roll. Thank you, Rex, for keeping us accountable. 7
Another 7.
again. I'm gonna.
Going
All right,
crazy
hand.
today. You wanna take another roll?
I'd say you did a great job. I think we learned a lot about you. A 10, and doubles roll twice. I forgot to say that.
Nice.
I'm not making that rule up in the
No,
middle
I
of the
believe
game.
you.
7 again. Does anyone have a 7?
No, but that makes. I mean, mathematically speaking, it makes sense. That we're getting
It
a lot of
does.
7s.
Well, I feel like we've learned what you would describe yourself as. Do we got time, Rex? Can we keep rolling?
Keep rolling.
So now this would be more like how others would describe you. What is a funny story your family would share about you?
Ooh.
Think about how they perceive you and something you did. You know, when the dumbassery was like at full, or it doesn't mean you had to be a dumbass, but you know, what's something funny your story your family would share about you?
That's a good question. I mean, I've always done little funny things, you know, being quirky and fun. I'm sure everyone in my family has a different story to tell about me. My cousins might have some debauchery.
Well, how many brothers and sisters do you have? Do you have any brothers and sisters?
So I'm adopted.
Okay.
So my full biological sister was adopted a year later to me with my family.
Really?
So, and I was adopted before I was born. So
Okay.
It wasn't like
Yeah.
So here's a funny story. I'll tell you this might be not a story, but my favorite adoption story of all time.
All right.
Is this and so my parents. I look like them, right? I mean, I'm not blood, but I look very similar to my mother. Not
Okay.
that different than my father. With one key difference is our height. And I'm not a tall king by any means. I mean, I'm 5'8". On Tinder, I'm 5'9", right? But my dad played collegiate basketball. My dad's 6'4". I mean,
Okay.
borderline 6'5". He's 280 pounds now, I'm sure. Maybe a lot. Sorry, Dad. Maybe he's been walking more. He's been, but big guy. I mean, he was a power forward and playing college ball.
All right.
My mom's a tall woman too. I mean, I think she's tinkering just around 6 foot.
Wow. Yes.
So, growing up, if you didn't know I was adopted, you just think I'm about to hit my growth spurt. And I still remember freshman year high school football. It was back to school night for the parents.
Okay.
This was in like the very beginning of the football season, and the next day after we were in practice, and my football coach, met my parents for the first time the night before.
Okay.
And if you meet my parents, and you're like, you're thinking, wow, we're about to have a Division I linebacker on our hands. So we're all in a huddle at the end of the practice the next day, and my coach is like, hey guys, great practice. DBs, good job on your skills. Great job moving the ball down the field today. Great job, stopping the dumb penalties. And he's like, by the way, guys, he was like, Brownie, which was my football nickname. He goes, Brownie, man, I met your parents last night, dude. You're gonna be a monster, man. We got to move you from cornerback. You're gonna be a defensive end, dude. You're about to hit a growth spurt like crazy. And he's like all hyped up and excited, thinking, the next NFL players at this local small school public team. And I look at him, and my friends were giggling because they knew it. And I'm like, Coach, I'm adopted. And his face turned cherry red. And I'm like, don't worry, Coach. I'm like, I'm more embarrassed than you are because I wish I could be that man for you. But I remember coming out to my dad. I'm straight.
Yeah, okay.
But it's the same coming out story. I remember coming out to my dad one day. I said, hey, Dad, I'm a wrestler.
Okay.
And not to despair, I have some LGBTQ individuals in my family, and maybe it's insensitive, but I joke because they joke back with me. When they came out, they had a similar story. They're like, I was uncomfortable because coming out to a family in that regard can be difficult. But my dad was a basketball player his whole life.
Yeah.
And I remember the day I came to the conclusion, I'm like, Dad, I'm strong and I'm short. I need to wrestle. So I was like, Dad, sit down. I need to tell you something. I'm like, it's who I feel on the inside. I'm a wrestler. And his face was like, I wish you went the other way with this.
Not a big wrestling fan.
I broke now. He just wanted me to play
basketball.
But he was super supportive.
Well,
my dad was
sure.
awesome. You could tell it was like I took the heart out of him. But by the next week, he signed me up for wrestling, and he went from basketball was his whole life to like being the wrestling dad. He would be at the tournaments with me on Saturdays for 12 hours. And they're not fun. Wrestling tournaments
They're a
are not
long
fun.
day. Yeah.
It's like three rounds, 3 matches over a 12-hour period, and the dad's just
3. That's it?
in a tournament. I mean, it depends how you do, but you can sit there for 12 hours and wrestle twice.
Wow.
But my dad was awesome. He became a great wrestling dad.
Okay.
But that's my only 2 like adoption stories that are funny because
Those are funny. Well, yeah. I mean, once again, you share what you want to share, but that's kind of, that's awesome.
other than that, man,
That your family's been so supportive and.
it doesn't. Being adopted is like the smallest part of my identity.
Yeah.
It's because it doesn't affect me in any
Doesn't
regard.
define you
Doesn't
or
define.
any-
But it's just funny because now that I'm a fully grown adult, at least physically fully
Yeah,
grown,
yeah.
it's like now you can see because growing up you're like, oh,
People go, is there a mailman that we should know about here?
But now it's just funny because I walk with my mom and dad places and it's like I gotta wear like high heels. It's just not a good look, especially as a single man. I'm trying to meet girls. I tell my dad,
That's right, ladies. He is single.
I'm like, Dad, walk on the other side of the street. I'm like, I gotta get some short friends to walk next to, make me look taller, not the
Yeah.
opposite.
So, since we just found out, we know you're single, and this is completely just came to me, and I figure you probably will have an answer. What's your ideal lady?
Oh,
What are you looking for?
you want like a person, or you want like what I'm looking
Well, what
for?
are you looking?
Someone make me
you're,
happy, man.
You're
I'm not gonna-
25, so you're probably still in dating mode, but you could settle down with a nice woman, and she holds you, tells you what you need to do, and then makes you feel better, and I don't.
Rex, for the record, Rex is like
I've been married 20 years. Rex is 20 plus.
Rex is the relationship coach in my life.
Rex is thinking about how many years. That's how long he's been married.
22.
Every time
22.
we're on the disc golf course, it's more for the other players that are married than me.
Yep.
But Rex is spewing out all the secrets of having a successful relationship and a successful
True.
marriage. So I always ask Rex, but man, I'm not going to sit here and tell you she has to be this or that. But if we make each other happy, that's really what I'm looking for. Someone who can kind of grow with me, has a growth mindset, makes me happy, and someone who gets my sense of humor because it's
Okay.
5.
Yeah, you kind
There
of.
we go,
Oh,
5.
you got to pay $1. No, 5 is five's racing.
5 is racing.
That's right. Never mind. That's good.
So, they just need to appreciate my jokes because they get pretty lame sometimes.
And
And
when
the
you
more-
say lane, they're just hard to read.
And the more Bud Light Orange you drink, they get a little bit more.
I mean, you name any word that ends in ER, and
So it's give me okay.
well, you say a word that ends in ER for me, please.
I can't.
There's another 5.
No, I'm not gonna say that word.
Conditioner, like shampoo,
Okay,
right?
conditioner. Yep.
Conditioner.
Yep. Conditioner.
Hardly know her. You gotta do it with any word that ends in ER.
See, now when I think of the word conditioner, I think of Billy Madison. Shampoo is better. No, conditioner is better.
Stop staring at me,
Stop,
Swan.
stop staring
But
at
just
me,
lame
Swan.
jokes like that, little dad jokes. You gotta have a good sense of humor.
That's true. Yeah, my roll.
You just rolled a 5.
Oh no, you rolled a 5.
You also rolled a 5.
I did?
Yeah.
No, I didn't even roll it.
You just rolled a 4 and a 1.
I
Go back
did?
to, we'll go back to the.
Did I don't know. We'll go back to an 8. See, we got to pay some money. A quarter. What is one character quality people would describe that you have? If you could think about looking out and how you've treated people, what would people describe you as? What's something that, I mean, maybe you don't have to think long, or maybe you do, but how would people describe you in a positive way?
In a positive. No, it's I think it's almost like leadership.
Okay.
Relationships in general are situational. I mean, my relationship with you and the way you describe me is different than Rex, and both of you guys are in the same kind of regard would be much different than the way my employees would, or my ex-girlfriends, especially some ex-girlfriends would really or my family, right? So it's like leadership. It shouldn't be one style of how you are. It should be how you are to be the best for other people.
Sure.
So people who need it would say I'm caring, because that's how I treat them, because I need to care for them. People like you might say, I'm spontaneous or fun.
I would say affable.
Affable. That's a good word. So I think it's situational. I like to just think I'm me. I'm a little quirky. I like to be fun.
I can see that.
You don't take life too serious. I
No,
mean,
it shouldn't
when
be.
I say that, because that sometimes gets a negative connotation, like, oh, he takes nothing serious. Like, well, that's probably because you haven't got to know that.
You know what one of my favorite books is, and that's exactly the subject, is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And the book teaches you, it's like, hey, you shouldn't take everything so seriously. Like, no one's going to remember these stupid, dumb little things.
You're right.
But
You're
what
absolutely
people
right.
do remember is how you treated them, how you made them feel. And just because you don't have to give a fuck about everything, like, there's still things important to you. Like, your marriage, your house, your happiness, your health. Like, the book
Yes.
isn't like just throw these things out, but it's how you approach them. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So people would say you have good leadership qualities.
I mean, some people.
Okay.
Leadership situational. There's people I've needed to lead that would tell you I suck, and unfortunately, it's the way I needed to act towards them. I needed to be. I never want to micromanage. My leadership style wouldn't be laissez-faire by any regards, and it wouldn't be micromanaging.
Sure.
But some people need micromanaging, and some people, if you don't be laissez-faire, they're never going to get the most out of them. So.
Okay.
Some people would be like, he's the best boss or best leader I've ever had, and some people would say, man, that guy sucks.
Leadership style requires buy-in. Very
So-
much requires buy-in.
Okay.
It's very, very hard to find the one leader that everybody follows. Usually,
That's true. That's
There's
a good
qualities,
point.
there's characteristics about good leaders that I think are more, applicable to every good leader, but the actual way you approach is based on the person being led, not the leader itself.
Yes.
Yeah, usually what you end up getting is the majority of the group follows because I'm required to, out of obligation,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll get 30 to 40% that are like,
I think
It's
so.
me.
You wrote.
I'm
I
only
think so,
here
yeah.
because I have to,
5 again. Woo. Yeah.
and then you'll get another 20% that's like, I can kind of see this, and then the remainder are like, I really understand this, but it's a very small, it's a much smaller portion.
Sure. Well, that's a good book that I like reading. I don't know if you've read Extreme Ownership
Yeah.
by Jocko Willink.
Yep.
Willink. Yeah. Like
Navy SEAL?
it falls
Yeah.
to you. It falls to you every time. Anyway,
Absolutely.
I don't want to go in. I would suggest reading it if you are in a leadership position or feel like that's some place that you will end up being. It's a great book to read. It's a great book on accountability.
I love that book. I mean, the main leadership positions I've been in, outside of school, where I was a platoon leader for a Patriot missile. I was a launch platoon leader.
Really?
So that was about 30 soldiers that were my platoon. That was a great leadership experience. And then now being a business owner, I have some employees under my belt, and that's a daily leadership
I
experience.
bet that
So-
prepared you now for this situation to some degree.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm so grateful. West Point gave me a great background in leadership experience. But it's like I said earlier with my MBA, a week in my business teaches me more than a year in formal
Yeah.
education. So same
Real
with
world.
leadership. Real world leadership teaches you a lot more than any amount of classes on hypothetical, theoretical leadership.
So I didn't ask you this, and now you said, I know you obviously go to West Point. You've mentioned it multiple times. Is that a really cool? It looks like it reminds me like a Harry Potter
it's
type
Hogwarts,
of place.
right? Yeah.
Yes. It just so much history. Well, lots of history, but just very. I mean, it's up in the morning. The bugles going. Blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
The Hellcats
get
playing
your
out
ass
there.
moving,
Yeah.
and I mean, back. I mean, I
It's
know
great.
it's very
It's-
intense as well, right?
It was great. It was an experience, and I wanted it. So it was easier for me because I chose it for myself. Some
Oh,
people,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
parents sometimes will pick that, or your legacy.
Sometimes
your
there's other
parents-
but I really wanted it, and I worked so hard to get there that I was, and it was about the people. It wasn't always fun, believe me. I mean, it was 24/7 of uniform and standards.
Oh,
and,
really?
There's no partying, there's no extracurriculars like that in that regard.
Yeah,
But it was great for me because it really gave me the structure I needed to do the most with my time possible. I mean, not only just learning leadership in general, Armyisms, but focusing on my sports, focusing on my honor society, focusing on my Special Olympics, and then focusing
Yeah.
on my business major, which I just learned so much. I learned more in I think that's like a master's level business course.
They're
all the courses.
preparing people there for the future.
They are.
They're
I mean,
preparing leaders.
most of the people who did undergrad business at the academy who end up doing an MBA, unless it's like a top 5 Wharton or Harvard, or
Yeah.
if it's not one of those, they're just relearning stuff that we already learned in our undergrad.
Okay.
So I was just very well prepared. So I loved my time there. I wouldn't have traded for anything. Plus, every once in a while, I'd take a weekend and go to Penn State or with
Okay.
one of my cousins. So I still got to experience college once or twice.
So, did you ever? Okay. So, man, I want to keep asking questions about this. I know I have other ones I need to ask. How is it at that Army Navy game when you're all dressed up and just? I've watched it on TV and it looks so cool.
It's a pain in the butt
Oh.
for the cadets.
Okay.
It's a great weekend. It's fun. But that morning, you got to get there at the crack of dawn. I mean, hours before the game in your full uniform, and it's the most uncomfortable uniform. It's hot. It's heavy. It's
Okay.
choking you.
Yeah.
And it's freezing. I
Yeah,
remember
you
my
guys
freshman
play
year-
near the end of the year, don't you? Usually,
You play in
right?
December. Usually
Yeah.
that second Saturday of September, and it's
In the
America's
Northeast.
game.
Ooh.
I remember my plebe year, my freshman year, I think it was like 20 degrees outside, and we stood out there for like 6 hours before the
Oh.
game. And you're
Before the game?
before the game, you gotta wait because it's all the pregame stuff. So you're all out there in dress shoes, so your toes are like frostbitten. And you just wait there and wait there and wait there, and then finally you gotta march in, and then the whole 2 weeks prior to that, you're practicing to march in at the academy.
Oh,
So,
really?
it's a whole ordeal. So that part's not fun, the prep, the waiting. But then once you're actually in the stadium, at the game, in your seat, then it's just an unbelievable good
Okay.
time. I mean, especially when you win. We were the first class to win. My freshman year was the first class to win in the Army Navy game in 16 years.
Wow,
It was
that's a big
16-year
deal.
drought, and then I got there. We broke the drought.
I bet that place was crazy.
Crazy, unbelievably crazy. And then my year as the freshman, normally you have all these restrictions, but because we beat Navy, we got a bunch of privileges. So like we were
Nice.
treated almost like upperclassmen
Yeah.
halfway through the school year as like the reward for winning. They make a lot of incentives to help like get everyone excited for the game.
Okay.
So good time.
Is there any special cadence you have to do when you do your march or anything when you're going into the game?
Yeah, you just follow the beat.
Okay.
It's left foot down when.
Okay,
the
so
drum
it's
hits.
nothing. Okay, so it's a very formal type of cadence. Okay. I think I know the answer to this question, just from the, we've hung out a couple times, like hang out, and then I just know you from our business and hanging out. Would you say people are more, I guess, closer to your family would describe you as an introvert or an extrovert?
Extrovert all day. Yeah. Not even.
Nailed it.
I don't have any introverted qualities about me
Okay.
whatsoever.
All right, and
Six.
six is racing. I would with my said, I plan to hang out with you for years to come, but 7 again. I would say I would agree with that assessment. I actually have a 7, so this is good. One of us might actually win.
I'll give you another roll here.
See, you just cursed it.
I know I probably did. What do you get?
I got an 11.
Ooh, that is the Jack, which is what you have.
Oh, that's good for me.
That is good. What is the best compliment you've ever got? Can you think of something like that? Is that something that you just blew you away and you're like, wow, that I wasn't trying, or I was maybe trying, and someone appreciated that about me, and they gave me that compliment?
There is one compliment that comes to mind, and it's the dumbest one ever, but it's because, I'm always very appreciative of comments, and I never take them for granted. And when
Sure.
I do it, I think it's unbelievable when people say, "Hey, you're this or that," and I like to give the compliments right back.
Yeah.
Well, it's only because you're this or you're that. But I hear that from men a lot.
Okay.
I think men compliment other men because it's just part of our nature. For every 100 compliments I get from a man, I get one from a woman, a genuine one.
Yeah.
So those are the ones I remember. So I remember being at the gym like a month
Okay.
ago, and a woman my age walks
Yep.
by and she goes, "Wow, I really like your tattoo." And it wasn't even like, normally the comments you remember are the ones like about your personality and, hey, you're caring, you're this, I can't believe you help so much. This was very superficial. This was like, I like your tattoo. But it was just so genuine, and girls don't give genuine compliments walking out to a stranger. I was like so taken back that this happened. I was like,
Okay. So what'd she say? She just complimented you?
Oh my god, I really like your tattoo, and then walked out. I'm like, just got a genuine compliment from that doesn't happen very often. So
That means she was paying attention to you.
or she just really liked my. Either way, you remember.
Well,
it,
I mean,
'cause-
she noticed your tattoo. It takes. I mean, I don't know which. You probably have a few tattoos. I have no
I got
idea.
a couple. My most common compliment is from like Rex every Saturday. Every time I have, probably 5 times a game, I go, "Wow, that was a great throw."
Okay.
That's the most common compliment
All
nowadays.
right.
Look.
All right. If you now you've lived a young life, but if you could remember for one thing, what would it be? And maybe look out into the future and how you will live your life. What is something you would like to be remembered for, or you think you would be remembered for?
My mind's changing this a little bit. But growing up, I think the leadership I wanted to learn most was so one day if I had kids, I could be a good leader for them, a good father for them.
Okay.
And then, have that be my legacy in the world.
Sure.
I'm still 25 and haven't met the right person, so
Yeah.
I'm not trying to rush kids by any means, because down here in Texas, if you think about kids too much, you manifest that very quickly, and I don't want that either.
All right.
But I think one day, having some kids, and what I think people remember me by is them and the family that creates after me.
Okay. Hey, that's
Okay.
a noble thing. Very noble thing. Said, wise beyond your years. I didn't get to this earlier, but I would like to know, and it kind of will lead us into more of your business acumen and your mindset. What is the first job you had that you got paid for? Like, that you had to give money to the government back. You'd pay taxes. Those things we love doing.
Oh, when you said I had to pay
Well,
taxes,
let's do
that
that.
changes my
Let's
answer
do
very.
both jobs. Let's do a job that you like. You started and you realized, wow, I like working, or I like making money, and then the job maybe where you went and you actually earned it and gave some of it back to our wonderful federal government.
The only job I ever had before going to West Point, because I'm active duty at that point, that's my job.
Okay.
I was a flag football coach. Not
Okay.
coach. I was part coach, part referee. That was just fun. I'd spend a Sunday.
Refereeing is hard.
Yeah, it was
Parents
a Sunday.
are brutal.
Oh, parents were brutal, man. Oh, absolutely. I could never win as a referee. And some of these kids, I'll tell you what, it was not that serious for league. It was this little, some of the kids were as young as first grade.
Ah.
And
Grow
I had
up,
parents yelling at me left and right, and I'm like, guy, you're not wrong. Yeah, half of them were offsides. Half of them were offsides every play.
Yeah, if
I'm
I
like,
really
I'm
want.
like, I started plays where one of the guys just starts in the other end zone, and he's active. They're first grade.
Yeah, relax.
I was like, I can call everyone, or I can call none of them. But I'm not going to call just the ones that your son happened to be on the losing end for. You know?
Yes.
So we could have a really awful game, and I'll blow my whistle and throw a flag every play, or let the kids have some fun and play football.
Exactly.
So that was just interesting learning how parents are.
Yes.
My next job was, being in the Army. And then I've had 3 roles. I was a platoon leader, which was my favorite. I was
Okay.
an executive officer for a rear detachment.
Now you said a platoon leader, so how many people are under you when you're a platoon leader?
It depends on the platoon and your unit, but for me it was about 30.
Okay.
Executive officer, I was just helping and being in charge for a rear detachment of like lateral transfers for equipment, turn-ins, maintenance, personnel, deploying, redeploying people. That wasn't bad. I liked the people I worked with, so that was good. And then now I'm an operations officer, assistant operations officer in the brigade, which means my job is working on like current operations, operational orders, just making sure training gets done.
Okay.
But I'm on my way out. I'm hoping to finish on my army time sooner than later.
Yeah.
So it's really, it's probably the least fun job I've had in the army. It's in a cubicle. It's nothing exciting.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, every one of those jobs taught me something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then being a business owner is its own job.
Yes.
So that's my favorite.
All right.
And then,
Well, we're going to talk a lot about that coming up here. So, well, I feel like I learned a lot about you. I'm hoping the people listening and watching are like, wow, he's got a unique character about him in a good way. I feel like you've lived a pretty eventful life for being 25 years
I try.
old.
I get bored if I don't.
So no, and so I look forward to hearing what people have to say about you and what they've learned about you. And like I said, we're going to delve a little bit further into business, what you think of business, how you approach your own business, and things like that here on the next segment. So thank you for sharing who you are. I feel like we got to know you quite well. I'm sure there's other questions I probably could have asked you, but this is I don't want to say it's a tease because I want people to reach out to you and get to know you better. But I feel like you've given people a lot of reason to get to know you. So
I appreciate that, JT.
Yes.
Thank you.
So stay tuned for the next segment. Please watch the next segment. It'll be right after this. So what you just watched is only a portion of the interview. To keep watching, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell to stay up to date and continue watching the videos in this segment. Peace.